Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Indie Pride from Milk and Cookies Total War, and Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Times has released their newest version of the mod, available to the public, and your eyes do not deceive you. Those are indeed Carnosaurs, the apex predator of Lustria, ridden into battle by the Saurus Oldbloods. One of the new units available in the open version of the mod. Make sure you go download it. Link will be in the description below. But let's go over army compositions for this free-for-all battle. So, I've got some Saurus Scar veterans. Two of those, very powerful elite heavy cavalry for the Lizardmen. And we've got some Carnosaurs as my monstrous melee infantry. And of course, the beautiful ancient Stegadon model created by Remy with an engine of the gods to provide some long-range killing power against my ogre enemies. Saurus as my main line, Temple Guard to back them up. Like I said, got some Carnosaurs, and in the front, just some skink archers to provide some meat shields against the powerful impact damage of these ogre forces. Across the way, the ogre is commanded by Warhammer Weekend Times. Link to his channel will be in the description below. He also uploaded an install instructions tutorial vid, which should help a lot of you guys out if you've never installed the mod before. But Ironguts bodyguard, ogres, I believe they're only like 2,500 gold now, so they're very easy to fill the entire core of your roster, which makes them very powerful because they are tough to bring down, multiple HP, big charge bonus, pretty scary army core for the ogres. And the butchers are going to be a caster unit that uses gut magic and provides a very powerful morale bonus to any units that it shoots over. So this is a very good way to bolster your infantry line and just give you some better morale. And he has a terrifying face. Oh my god, that is horrifying. Alright, so Ironguts in the background and some Noblars as well. And look at this. I don't think I've shown it on Beginning of the End Times yet, but these are the Rhinox Cavalry. They've replaced Mournfangs in the mod, and they are devastating off of the charge. One of the most powerful cavalry units in the entire game. Definitely going to have to be looking out for those guys because they will do a lot of damage off the charge and in sustained melee combat. Now, this is a free-for-all, which means Brettonia and the Greenskins are fighting as well. Got some questing knights charging into the Orc Boys in the front line, and a lot of heavy cavalry. Bretonnia is tough to deal with in this mod for sure. It's medieval too, so their heavy cav builds can be very, very difficult to bring down because they're able to field so much of it. And they can even do a decent job against a lot of enemy spears as well. Damsels are new in this version. They are a skirmish cavalry that basically functions like a spellcaster. Very good at taking down expensive, high-value targets. Not so good against big swaths of infantry like the Greenskins are known for bringing. So, bunch of Orc Boys, big guns, Black Orcs from Strike from the Sky Brothers, and it looks like we've got Spyfly commanding the Bretonnians. So the cavalry fight has begun in earnest, and we can take a look at the army in the background here. Some halberd men-at-arms, and some peasant bowmen, trebuchet, and a Grail Reliquary. Beautiful model on that. That is actually gorgeous. Pushed by a bunch of battle pilgrims. So let's put it into play and focus on my battle for the moment. So, Ogre Kingdoms charging up the center, destroying my skink cohort, or I'm not going to be able to hold the line at all. Look at that. Just getting completely demolished as the ogres charge through and directly into the Saurus warriors. Saurus aren't really going to be able to hold the line very well against this ogre charge either. Basically have to tie these down, get my cavalry into the flanks, and hope my Carnosaur and my Carnosaurs can do enough in melee combat to finish them off. These Carnosaurs are going to try to hold down the left flank, but ogres are pushing through, trying to get at my engine of the gods. Stan recognizes the threat that this thing poses, so he's going to try to tie that down. I'm going to follow it up with a charge from the Carnosaurs and see if they can do some decent damage in melee. They're great against big swaths of infantry because they basically function like an elephant, but at the same time, they're not so good against ogres because they have such high HP values and strong attack values as well. The Rhinox are just going to push through my Saurus, charge directly into my Temple Guard, and what was 85 Temple Guard in a unit is now 50. God damn, look at that charge bonus from those Rhinox Cavalry. They're such a threat on the field. If I don't get my cavalry into them very soon, they're going to completely decimate my line. Saurus Scar veterans charging into the ogres, trying to take down some of these bulls early on. Well, I gotta focus on these Rhinox Cavalry. You're going to get a great hammer and anvil off into the back of my Temple Guard. Actually, he's going to pull away here. Now I'm going to try to overlap the engagement, tie them down in melee, and make sure they can't get those impactful charge bonuses off. Carnosaurs over here just cut through every... Oh my god, look at how many dead Saurus are from that Rhinox charge there. The Carnosaurs are going to charge into the Noblars, start cutting through them. And these are basically just meat shields, so killing them's not super important, but they can control units very well with their nets. You'll see those nets just got thrown there. They'll knock units over and basically stun lock them, prevent them from moving, which is actually pretty powerful. Butchers in melee as well, and still dealing with these Rhinox Cavalry, trying to take them off the field, but they're going to be one of the tankiest units on the field at the moment. So killing them, not going to be easy, just try to tie them down and make sure they can't get those charge bonuses off. Let's take a look at the Greenskins and Brettonia engagement. Absolute bedlam up top here, on top of the mountain. Orc Spear Boys. Well, actually, it looks like the Ogre Tyrant just went down there to my Saurus Scar Veterans. That's pretty important. Oh my god, those were Black Orcs. Completely surrounded by the Grail Knights. Hammer and Anvil from both sides and completely destroyed. And the Orc Boys are having serious trouble dealing with all of this Bretonnian cavalry. So many Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant on the field. Black Orcs and Orc Boys trying to hold the line. But the Halberds have collapsed in from the flank, pinning them in place, and if cavalry can swoop in from behind, that blob is not going to be much long for this world. So we've got the Damsels of the Lady here on their unicorns. Very cool looking model on them. We'll see if we can get any cool shots off. Actually pretty decent in melee as well. Very lightly armored, but they can fire while moving, which is pretty terrifying. My Carnosaur just went down. My General just went down, so I'm going to actually focus back on that engagement and see how things are progressing here. So one of my Carnosaur models is dead on the mountain. That was my General. Actually, both of them are dead now. That's not good. Carnosaurs didn't get to do a whole lot in this game, unfortunately. I should have focused on them a bit more. But honestly, taking down so many Ironguts and Ogre Bulls is super tough for the Carnosaur. Like I said, they're way better against big groups of infantry rather than a bunch of monsters who have really high HP value. So Carnosaur's not performing too well here. But that's alright. I'm getting some nice charges into the Ogre Butchers. Need to take them off the field because their morale bonus is gigantic when they're able to fire in. Don't do a lot of damage from range, but they can definitely buff up your morale. I'm still trying to get some shots in with the Engine of the Gods. So me and Stan are trying to play cat and mouse at the moment. He's trying to close down my Engine of the Gods, prevent it from firing, and maybe kill it with the impact damage from the charge. Let's get another charge in with the Scar Veterans. But I keep trying to pull away and dodge the charge. It seems like they have a little bit of trouble tracking units like elephants, which I'm not really sure why, because it's just a regular cavalry unit. I mean, they're monstrous cavalry, but in terms of Medieval 2 classifications, they're just regular cav. But they are having some serious trouble tracking down my Ancient Stegadon here, so I'm going to keep pulling it away and hopefully get some good shots in on these Ogre Bulls and Ironguts in the center. I have killed some of the Butchers, and I am getting some nice rear charges off of the Saurus Scar Veterans, but things are looking a little bad for me at the moment. Most of my main line is dead. Skink Archers in the background still able to fire in, but they're not going to do a whole lot of damage to Ogres. Nice charge into the Rhinox Riders, trying to surround them, but it's tough, right? Because even if I pull my Ancient Stegadon away, I can't really fire into this and kill those because they have more HP than my Saurus Scar Veterans, so it's not really a good trade for me. I'm much more likely to friendly fire my own stuff than take down that powerful cat, which is just scything through my Scar Vets at the moment. They are starting to lose some models here. I think they've lost 3 or 4 since the battle began. I think they have like 8 or 9 HP, so taking them down is so tough. Kroxigors, on the other hand, though, doing really well. Greenskin General going to go down to a Halberd Warrior. That's impressive. Very nice kill from that peasant there. And I'm still trying to dodge these Rhinox Riders. Absolute bedlam over here as well. Kroxigor, my Temple Guard and my Saurus are completely dead at this point. Basically just Kroxigors, handful of Temple Guard left actually, but not very many units left on either side. And I haven't really been able to fire with my Engine of the Gods either. Let's take a look at the Greenskin and Brettonia fight up top. A lot of cav left on the field. It's brutal, man. As Greenskins, I don't think that Strike from the Sky brought the right kind of build to deal with all this heavy cav. Just a lot of infantry, which is basically just chaff before the charges of Questing Knights and Grail Knights. I think he would have done much better off to bring a bunch of Trolls and Meat Shields, try to tie down those cavalry as they charge in, block the charges, and then follow up with charges from the Trolls, which can take down Questing Knights and Grail Knights relatively easily if they're in sustained melee combat. But yeah, this was an absolute slaughter. Look at that. A lot of dead Knights Errant, but the elite heavy cavalry, the Grail Knights and the Questing Knights, are still around. And the Damsels are around as well. So let's focus on me and Stan now. Saurus Scar Vets wading into melee with the Rhinox Cavalry and some Ironguts chasing after my Cav. Need to pull away from that engagement. That will not go well for the Lizardmen heavy Cav there. Crocsgores should be able to finish these Nobblers off relatively easily. But the problem is they're meat shielding extremely well. This is exactly what you want from your Nobblers. To not rout because they're supported by that gut magic. And basically just tie down important elite units, which is exactly what they're doing. While these guys are tied down, they cannot come in to reinforce and help me take out these Rhinox. So Stan's doing that very, very well. I'm still desperately trying to get my Engine of the Gods out of this melee fight. The Rhinox are just completely dead set on killing my dinosaurs, man. Like, I am trying so hard to get my Stegadon out of there. But honestly, it's just not giving me any time to fire in, so I kind of just have to use it for its melee capabilities, but I can't let it get surrounded by the Rhinox Riders, who will just completely destroy the Stegadon in seconds if he's able to get tied down. You just gotta keep him on the move. He's not doing a whole lot for me at the moment, but at least he's kind of preventing these Rhinox from charging into my Crocsgores and my melee units, which at the moment are providing me with much of my killing power. This is a very bad spot for the Crocsgores to be in. I'm gonna notice it and hope and pull out. They're not gonna track too well into that charge, but they are gonna take down one model there. Another charge into the back here, taking down these Ironguts in the background. And this is how you deal with monstrous infantry. Basically just charge it with Cav and hope that's enough. And in some cases it is, especially when you start outnumbering them in the model count. Your cavalry charges will be very nice, but it's a kind of a difficult trade, right? Because Ironguts, for example, have a gigantic charge bonus as well. So if they get that counter charge off, they can kill a lot of your models. But thankfully the Saurus Oldbloods have multiple HP. Gonna take down that final Irongut, which is pretty important for me. Another big charge from the Rhinox Riders. They won't die, man. They've only lost one in the last like 5 minutes. Only lost one model. Shot going through there from the Ancient Stegadon. More Ogres chasing after. And I think Brettonia should be on their way down at this point, right? Where am I looking? Not looking at the right spot. Where are they? Okay, here we go. Yeah, Brettonia is going to be making their way over, but they have a long march ahead of them. So that's something that we'll probably end up fast forwarding once we get to that point. But we're not even sure who's going to win this side yet. It's super close, man. Not a whole lot of units left on the field. 5 Crocsgore here getting butchered on that charge. And some more Crocsgores tying down his Ogre Bulls. Or chasing after the Ancient Stegadon, go figure. Still trying to pull away. Still trying to get some kind of line of sight on these Ogres and actually have time to fire. But it is tough. Honestly, the Ancient Stegadon wasn't a great pick in this battle, I don't think. It's just not very good at killing multiple HP units. Kind of like the Carnosaurs, much better against big swaths of infantry than it is against the high HP models that are low in number. Oh, they're starting to drop, though. Charging in from the flank. They just lost 2 of their models. Rhinox Cavalry might be losing their steam here. And here come the nets from the Nobblers. Gonna be controlling all of these infantry and cavalry. Knocking down a lot of them. Again, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. In fact, I'm not sure it does any damage whatsoever. But it completely controls them, prevents them from charging, and is very, very good way to prevent charge bonuses from going off. So the Nobblers are very interesting. I think that net is really cool to see in action. We're getting into the later stages of the game at this point. 5 Rhinox Riders left, surrounding my Ancient Stegadon. Crocsgore is charging in. Gonna be a tough fight, man. I love the model for these Rhinox Riders, by the way. They look absolutely gorgeous. And they're so much fun to use, but god, they're slaughtering me. My poor Oldblood on the ground here, and his Carnosaurs didn't get to do a whole lot in this battle. Another charge from the Scar Veterans. They don't have a lot of HP left at this point either. And it is going to be a grinded out melee fest here at the end. Only a handful of Butchers, Bulls, and Rhinox Riders left. In fact, I think that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last Butcher. So the morale bonus that he's going to be sending into his troops is not going to be sticking around for too long if I can bring him down here. And this Butcher has been extremely resilient. Brought down a couple of my Crocsgore models. But now it's going to be a duel to the death here. Nobblers are actually controlling that Crocsgore very well, knocking him down. That might give the Butcher enough time. Oh, he's going to pull away. That's smart. So if he can fire in some more gut magic, he can maybe buff up the morale of his Nobblers. But everything's starting to break here. And the Rhinox are finally finished off. Only one model left, being chased down by the Saurus Scarvets. Don't think we'll be seeing that Rhinox return. Get one last look at the model here. Awesome model. Such a cool unit. Such a great addition to the game. I think it's only a Forge World unit. I don't think it was ever actually an official part of the Ogre Kingdoms army books. But either way, very devastating unit and a great addition to Call of Warhammer Beginning and End Times. Looks like the Butcher went down here, so Gut Magic is gone, and that means with one final charge from the Engine of the Gods, these Gnoblars are going to rout. Stan is going to admit defeat, and now I have a serious uphill climb, not just topographically, but from a battle perspective, trying to win this one when there are this many Grail Knights and Questing Knights on the field, marching with all their regalia. That's going to be a serious issue. That's a lot of heavy cavalry to deal with. Even got some infantry left, the Halberd Men-at-Arms. Questing Knights behind them. A lot of Bretonnians on the field. So, how do I win in this? The answer is I don't. Pretty much I have to bend over and take it. I can take down some with me, but barring some kind of miracle, I don't really see myself pulling this one out of the bag. Let's go into double fast forward, or 6 speed it, and get Spyfly over here and see what we can do. So even Kroxigors, at this point with their HP kind of whittled down, are not going to have a good time. I'm going to open up fire into the charging heavy cavalry, but the Ancient Stegadon is actually not fantastic for hitting moving models, at least not models moving as fast as heavy cavalry are. Another shot, gonna whiff. Very good rate of fire. Get some good shots in. Not gonna take one down, but yeah, he's gonna close into melee. I'm gonna miss another. Oh, actually, no, that killed another. So I've killed 2 Grail Knights. Remnants of my Saurus Scarvet's gonna get a brave downhill charge here. Kroxigor's gonna come in. Stegadon gonna wade into melee and see what it can do. Actually gonna be able to kill a lot of Grail Knights. Thunderstomp going down. Beautiful attack animation there. But the Bretonnians are in the ascendancy. Kroxigor's gonna get slaughtered off the charge. Damsel's actually killing a few of my Kroxigors with their mag. Oh yeah, Ancient Stegadon gonna go down. And that will pretty much be your battle. So Brettonia is going to take it. Greenskins didn't do too much damage to them, unfortunately. But after me and Stan beat the crap out of each other, Ogre Kingdoms and Lizardmen slaughter the crap out of each other. Not a whole lot I could do about that one. So Spyfly is going to take that free-for-all. Hope you guys enjoyed the look at some of those new units. In fact, let's go into a custom match after this one and just kind of look at what the Carnosaurs are able to do in melee, because I didn't really show them off particularly well in this battle. But let's take a look at the stats first. So I got about 1,100 kills. Spyfly got 1,200. Stan got 900 or so, and Strike from the Sky Brothers got 700. So my kills here, Carnosaur, Jesus Christ, that's bad, man. 1 kill. I mean, I know they're ogres. That's not good. Hopefully they can perform better against infantry. We'll see. It's a beta version. This is still a beta version. It's just now available to the public, so they might still need some work. The model's awesome. But let's see, Scarvet's 98, 96. The kills are going to be kind of low, honestly, because I was fighting a bunch of ogres, and they're very low model count. But 261 of my Kroxigors, a lot of that were on Gnoblars. So overall, managed to win my 1v1 barely, but Bretonnia was able to wrap it up and take it. So let's go into a custom battle real quick. I'll see you on the battlefield, and we can watch the Carnosaurs do some close quarters melee action, rip stuff up, and snack on it for dinner.